Being joined on Radio On The Go Sports by Hampton-Dumont-CAL softball coach Kelsey Enslin. Ends up being a 10-6 loss on the home field to Iowa Falls-Alden. Kind of a weird game. You start in the middle of the game after it was suspended. You guys find yourselves with the lead there after that grand slam by Marin Subert, but unfortunately not able to hang on there in the seventh.
Yeah, it was, we had talked about the girls what it was going to be like. You don't go into games very often and you're down 4-2. So we talked about that last night and how we needed to come with that offensive mentality. And even just like in our last night game, I said, we became offensive a little bit too late in the game. But yeah, it was kind of that moment, Marin, I knew at some point it was going to go over. So for her to get one in that situation was awesome. And then we were sitting there and I'm like, okay, 3 outs. And we just, wasn't meant to be. And we have such young actually we have such a young team, but with our young pitchers, and just them developing into high pressure situations and those things, we're really looking to grow as we move forward.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's a huge moment whenever someone can get their first career home run, and to do it in that fashion as well, a grand slam. Tell me about Marin Subert and how she's kind of gotten to this point to be able to put one over the fence.
She's worked real hard on just getting that contact point of extension, and so throughout this season, she's really grown and developed, changed a lot. She worked at third base some, and then we kind of made a spot for her out in right field, and once we did that, it was like she has to be in the lineup. And we actually entered today. She was actually gone from this game. So when we entered her in, you had some lineup restrictions with who can do what. So it kind of got a little bit funky, and that's actually why she wasn't in the field originally. But yeah, just so happy for her and the work she's put in. And as a sophomore, we're just, we're really excited, especially with somebody like Charlie going out. You feel like a little bit, you can compare the two just with a hitting spot and having somebody else step in with that kind of power.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to that seventh inning there, what are some of those biggest lessons to be had, maybe from, giving up 5 runs in an inning like that and an opportunity where you could have, closed the game out?
Yeah, I think, as young pitchers, you want to have that, you walk in there and you want to be like, this is mine. I'm going after them. They're not going to touch my ball. And you kind of felt it on that first hit right away. It was a really good hit right away. And then they just had some plays. And even, as a fielding thing, you got to think about, I have to stop this ball. I have to keep it in front of me. I'm diving to make those plays. So, yeah, they just, they came out and battled. And, last time we played them, it was kind of a similar game, really up and down and having to stick through. So good game for us. Obviously, we wanted to come out on top, but we'll take a couple days off, and then we're going to go at Algona and Clear Lake next week.
You bet. And going into the postseason here next week as well. Obviously, that's a few games away, but what are going to be the biggest X factors for this team here in this upcoming week to make sure you're as crisp as you possibly can be going into next week?
Yeah, center point's going to be a challenge. I think they're ranked 15th, I believe. So for us to go in and get an upset, we're definitely going to have to defensively make plays, be sharp, not letting them. We talk about defensively, we want to be the aggressors. We're not going to let them do things like just steal a base or be lackadaisical in any situation. And then you're going to have to start to be offensive right from the beginning. So we'll start looking at that Monday and look to go get Algona and Clear Lake, get some conference upsets, and then go into center point.
All right, it's Hampton-Dumont-CAL head coach Kelsey Enslin. Thanks for the time here today.
Thank you. Go Dogs.